1.
Here it is. Here's my one tip, my best tip, the best tip for Grim Dawn. You do not need any previous knowledge of this game, any game. You don't need special gear, you don't need to have got to a particular level. This tip is going to be as useful at level 2 as it is at level 100. Anybody can do this. You don't need to understand any of the game mechanics, you don't need to know about devotions, you don't need to know about damage types or anything, right? All you've got to do is open your character tab and go to tab 2. And there you can see you've got a move to, which is on my left mouse button. That is your left mouse button, or that button down there, whatever it is on Xbox, no idea. Let's talk about mouse buttons, it makes more sense. There's your left mouse button, move to. There's your right mouse button, phantasmal blades. That just shows weapon damage. So if you swap gear around that buffs your weapon damage, that will change. This, your right mouse button, is the important one. I'll tell you why. And this is the tip, okay? Left mouse button's got a very limited number of things you can assign to it. Specific attacks, not all skills. So I can't put Blood of Dreeg or Curse of Frailty or Bloody Pox on left mouse button. However, I can put whatever I want, all sorts of stuff, on right mouse button. Anything I want I can put on right mouse button. And right mouse button shows up there. So say I put Curse of Frailty on there. Curse of Frailty doesn't directly do any damage. It's a debuff. So it shows nothing. However, let's go back to putting Phantasmal Blades on there. That shows the damage Phantasmal Blades does. Now, if I was to swap around a bit of gear, you can see that the damage that Phantasmal Blades does changes right there. Whoa. Now, you can also see this if you go onto here and look at that and look at the damage on there. Those numbers will change when you swap the gear around. However, to do that, you have to go back into your character tab and swap the gear around. And then you have to either write the numbers down or have a good memory. I haven't got a good memory. You can see the numbers there. And they change when you swap the gear around. Now, I could put Bloody Pox on there. Bloody Pox is my main attack skill. There it is, right? So you can see a bunch of stuff there. You can see a bunch of stuff there. It's the same stuff. But you can see a number there. So if you swap stuff around, you can see that number change. Now, the key thing here is, if you've been playing this game for, I don't know, 2,500 hours, and you can recognise items just by looking at them, and you know what type of damage they do. Now, any item in Grim Dawn will roll with a variation between an upper and lower limit of various things. That won't always have plus 29 physique on it. That thing won't always have those exact same percentages on it. They'll change. So even if you know this game inside out, if you were to look at some item and I said, right, I'll hover over that item, you tell me what that number's going to change to. You could probably guess approximately, maybe. However, if you swap it over, you can see exactly what it's changed to. There you go. It's gone down massively. Now, someone who knows what they're talking about look at that and go, oh yeah, well, I could have told you that. Now, you couldn't have told me the exact number. And who wants to be trying to do that kind of maths in their head every time they're swapping stuff around? When you're at a shop, you go to a shop, right? And you look at some item and you think, well, that looks nice, but I don't know if I swap it around whether it's going to put Bloody Pox up or not. So you swap it over and you see that it doesn't, and then you sell it back for what you bought it for. So this is the tip. This is the tip, is when you're swapping gear around, get that tab 2 up and put whatever skill you're interested in temporarily on your right mouse button so you can watch it change in this panel. Because you can't see it change there. Well, you can if you hover over it and mess about with it. But if you put it on right mouse button, it appears here and it makes life easier. Now, I started using that ages ago. Loads of people will already be doing this, and this is how I support this claim that this is a good tip. If everyone who watches this video went, oh, I never knew that, I'll start doing that, then this tip is useless, because it means no one's ever thought of doing this or done it for themselves. Most people who've been playing the game for a while will be doing this, because this is useful as hell. It's really good. It's not my tip, it's out there. Everyone who knows what they're doing will be doing this. And no one's going to step up and go, oh yeah, well, that's all well and good, but there's a better way of doing it. No, there's not a better way of doing it. This is the best way of doing it. That's why this is tip number 1.
There can be only one.
Like I said, the only builds where you aren't going to get any benefit from this mostly is pet builds, because you can't go sticking a pet skill on there. It'll look like Curse of Frailty. It will just show as a 0. So pets, you're on your own, but pets are a laugh a minute, so yeah, you don't worry about that. Any character that's got a damage skill can benefit from this, and that is the majority. I mean, even a pet build, you might think, well, let's just check what damage I'm doing on, I don't know, Bone Harvest or something. So that's the tip. Get character tab up, open that tab 2, stick any skill temporarily. Let's find another one. See, Pneumatic Burst doesn't deal damage. Death Chill Aura. Death Chill Aura, it's got a damage on it. There you go. So you can swap stuff around. Makes a small change to it. See, that makes a small change to it, so you think, well, yeah, I'll start using that. But if Bloody Pox is your main attack, you don't want to be doing that, because swapping that over drastically reduces it. So there you go, there's your tip. That's the best tip ever. If I had to say, pick one thing, because it's all right people saying, oh, well, you've got to explain devotions. That's not a tip. This is a tip. Use that character tab 2 to watch damage change when you swap gear around. That's the tip. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. You don't have to understand anything. You don't have to know. You don't even have to know why that's changing. You just need to know that it will change when you do that. Hope you liked that one. That's the best tip ever for Grim Dawn, in my opinion.
The one.